Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper from the Hugging Face trending list, published on August 26, 2025, just 2 days ago. The standout result is that generative interfaces, where the model creates a task-specific interface on the fly, are preferred by humans in about 84% of cases over a standard chat interface. The paper is titled Generative Interfaces for Language Models, and as we'll see later, the results are really impressive. Beyond the headline win rate, the framework shows biggest gains in aesthetic appeal and satisfaction, and it performs especially well on structured, information-dense tasks like data visualization and business strategy. On X, posts highlight adaptive interfaces that LLMs generate on the fly, with examples like piano practice tools and neural net animations, emphasizing reduced human bandwidth bottlenecks and moving beyond passive chat. Engagement appears moderate, with likes around 90 on one post and about 15 on another. The previous segment summarized audience buzz around adaptive tools. Figure 1 now contrasts conversational responses with generated, task-specific interfaces, which present structured layouts and interactive widgets rather than long text. The top panel introduces a framework that routes queries into interfaces and evaluates functional, interactive, and emotional perceptions. The lower panels ground this with examples. A piano prompt becomes an interactive practice tool, and a business analytics prompt becomes a data upload plus charting workflow, so users act directly instead of parsing prose. So the previous figure contrasted chat with hands-on tools. Figure 2 shows the full pipeline, which starts from a natural language query and maps it to a structured plan that captures views and transitions, then decodes that plan into executable interface code. The top left diagram illustrates interaction flows and finite state machines that define events and states, so behavior stays consistent. The right panel presents generated code and a preview. The bottom sequence depicts iterative refinement guided by adaptive rewards that score visual structure, clarity, and task fit. Alright, the previous figure outlined the pipeline and rewards. Table 1 summarizes human preferences across 7 dimensions, and overall, comparing chat baselines and an instructed interface to the generated interfaces. Against Claude-based chat, generated interfaces win about 84% overall, with especially high margins in aesthetic appeal and interaction satisfaction. Against GPT-4o chat, wins remain strong at roughly 69%. Compared to the instructed interface, wins reach around 75%, which shows the full framework matters. So, Table 1 highlighted overall wins. Figure 3 shows how those wins distribute across domains. The strongest preferences appear in data analysis and visualization at about 93.8% and in business strategy and operations at roughly 87.5%, which signals value when information is dense. Advanced AI and machine learning lands at 50%, so linear text remains competitive when math-heavy reasoning dominates. The remaining areas cluster around 70 to 80% preference, indicating broad but not universal gains. So the previous figure mapped preferences by domain. Figure 4 breaks preferences down by query style and shows how refinement lifts quality. The left panels report that interactive queries saw 80% preference for generated interfaces, while detailed prompts scored 80% and concise ones 73%. The right plot shows reward values rising across iterations, from roughly 83 to about 89 by iteration 3, which signals steady gains because adaptive scoring guides regeneration. So the previous figure showed iteration gains. Table 2 reports an ablation against the full system, which uses adaptive rewards, iterative generation, and structured representation. Replacing structured representation with natural language led to more losses, so structure clearly helped. Switching from one shot to iterative improved wins across functional, interactive, and emotional metrics. Using static rewards hurt performance, which suggests the adaptive scoring guided better refinements. So the previous table dissected system components. Table 3 reports automatic scores from a listwise ranker with dimensions grouped as functional, interactive, and emotional. GenUI leads across every metric, scoring about 86 in query interface consistency and 84 in task efficiency, which signals strong task grounding. Usability and learnability reach roughly 87 and 84, while information clarity hits 88.5. Aesthetic appeal and interaction satisfaction top out near 89 and 87, so relative gains versus chat baselines exceed 80% on emotional measures. Alright, 2 takeaways stand out. First, letting models synthesize task-specific interfaces, guided by structured plans and adaptive rewards, yields clear wins in usability and satisfaction, with humans preferring them roughly 84% of the time. Second, benefits concentrate on information-dense, interactive work. The broader signal is a shift from chat to toolmaking. That is it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I am Alex. Thanks for listening.